From a distance, we see a young lady walking gracefully. Her name is Bella. When she arrived, she knocked on the window of a certain parked Range Rover, and the window was rolled down. "Hey, Kanye, can I talk to you for a moment? Madam Sia hasn't arrived yet, so the class hasn't started. You know that. So, let's talk." The guy stepped out of the car, and Bella planted a deep kiss on him. He pushed her away. "What does that mean? Kanye, I love you, and you know it. You're just making things difficult. That's not a reason for you to kiss me out of nowhere. Ask for permission first. Don't try that nonsense again, okay?" When Kanye glanced to the other side, he saw Madam Sia, a very beautiful lady with a striking complexion. Kanye grabbed his bag, but unfortunately he dropped his phone, headed to class. During the lesson, Madam Sia was busy teaching, while Kanye was busy writing his name in his notebook. He really loved Madam Sia. Later that night, Sia tried calling her boyfriend, who lived abroad, but she couldn't reach him. Her best friend Muna told her, "Relax, he's probably just busy. He'll call you when he's free. This isn't normal. I feel like something is wrong. The problem is how much you love him." Madam Sia kept calling him, but eventually she fell asleep. As she turned in bed, her phone suddenly rang. She quickly picked it up. "Hey, what's wrong? I've been calling you so many times, but I couldn't get through." Now we see her boyfriend overseas. Turns out it's Kanye, her student. "I lost my phone this morning, so I had to buy a new one." These two are deeply in love, yet Madam Sia has never met him in person. She has only seen his pictures because they met on a dating app. Kanye sends Madam Sia pictures that aren't his. He uses someone else's photos, and whenever she requests a video call, the real owner of the photos is the one who answers. So, Madam Sia thinks she's dating a man named Kennedy, but in reality, it's Kanye, her student. The next day, Madam Sia told her best friend that something felt off about the video calls with Kennedy. They're so different from the audio calls. Maybe he's just shy. Some people are like that. Shy? Really? I don't think so. It's just that on video calls, I'm always the one talking, and he stays completely silent. It happens. You two have never even met, so he probably feels awkward. Sia accepted her friend's explanation. "I am your storyteller, Avance, and this is Nollywood Recapped. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to be part of the family." Back at the university, Madam Sia entered the classroom with the exam results for her subject. "I remember telling you all that whoever scores the highest will get to have lunch with me, right? I see you all tried your best, but there's one person who performed exceptionally well, so the highest scorer is Kanye. Please give him a round of applause." The class applauded. "Congratulations, Kanye. Let's meet in the next class. And Kanye, come to my office for your reward, okay?" Later, Kanye went to Madam Sia's office. "Congratulations, Kanye. Here is your reward." "I thought it was a lunch date." "A lunch date with my student? Stop joking, please." "But that's what you said. That's what you assumed. Did you really think you were going on a lunch date with me?" Madam Sia laughed, thinking it was just a joke, but Kanye was deeply hurt. He had studied so hard just to get a chance to have lunch with the woman he loved, but in the end, all he got was a small prize. That night, at Kanye's home, his grandfather visited him. They exchanged greetings and started discussing business. Since Kanye's father had passed away, he had inherited everything under his grandfather's supervision. It turns out Kanye is extremely wealthy. The next day at university, Kanye saw Madam Sia and approached her. "Madam, let me help you carry that." "No, don't worry about it." "Madam, I insist. Please let me help." Madam Sia handed him her bags. "And also, let me give you a lift to your destination." "It's fine. I've already requested a taxi, and it'll be here soon." After that, Kanye attended a board meeting where he shared valuable insights. His grandfather was very pleased. "I think I can entrust everything to you now. You've really matured. But also, what about that girl? My girlfriend? She's doing well. You know I don't support what you're doing. It's dangerous. You can't play with someone's feelings like that." "Grandpa, I'm not playing with her. I truly love her." "Then tell her how you feel." "I can't because she would never listen to me." The old man refused to support him in that matter. Meanwhile, Madam Sia told her best friend Muna, "There's this young man in my class named Kanye. He's calm, charming, and a very hard-working student. But there's something familiar about him, like I know him from somewhere." Sia, be careful. These young men nowadays. Just then, Madame Sia's phone rang. "Hey, baby. I've called you so many times, but I couldn't reach you. Where were you?" I'm really sorry. I was super busy today." They continued chatting about different things. You know how long-distance relationships can be. In the morning, Muna rushed to call Sia. Sia, come, let me show you your surprise." "What surprise?" "Just come with me." They both went outside, where Kanye had bought Sia a car. There was a small note attached that read, "Don't take a taxi anymore." Madame Sia was completely shocked. She immediately called Kennedy. "You bought me a car. You like it, don't you?" "Yes, I love it. I don't even know what to say." "Don't worry, you deserve it." Madame Sia ended the call, overwhelmed with happiness. The next day at university, Bella stopped Kanye. Kanye asked, "What is it this time?" "I've organized a party at my place, and I've invited you and the entire class. So that you can kiss me again? No thanks." As Kanye glanced to the side, he saw Mr. Demola trying to flirt with Madame Sia, but Sia was rejecting him. He had been bothering her for a long time. Mr. Demola finally decided to just leave her a gift and walk away. Later that night, while they were on a call, Kanye asked, "Tell me, did anything happen at school today that upset you?" Sia replied, "There's this colleague of mine who keeps pursuing me, even though I've told him I'm in a relationship. My love, have you seen yourself? You're so beautiful. Every man would want to be with you. But it doesn't matter because I'm already taken by you." The next day, while Kanye was in his room, there was a knock on the door. It was his grandfather, holding a Forbes magazine with Kanye on the front page. They both celebrated. His grandfather said, "We're going to throw a huge party, but before that, ask for anything you want." "Anything? Are you sure?" "Yes, ask for whatever you want. I won't take back my words." "All right, let me think about it first, and I'll let you know." "Okay, when you decide, tell me." Back at the university, Mr. Demola cornered Sia again. Kanye saw this and decided to help her. He walked over. "Hey, madam, I heard you were looking for me." Yes." "Yes, I was calling you." Mr. Demola walked away. "So, what did you want to say?" "I was just helping you out. It looked like you didn't want to talk to him. So, between the two of us, who should be helping whom?" "Let me ask you something, madam." "Go ahead." "When you look at me, what do you see?" "A young man who's restless and full of games." "I'm not playing games, I'm very responsible." "And you know, you remind me of someone." "Oh? Who?" Never mind. Thanks again for your help, but there's no need to do this again, okay?" Then she walked away. At home, Kanye showed his grandfather the engagement ring he had bought for Sia. "How much is this worth?" $500. "But have you told this woman the truth?" "If she rejects you, that's okay too." "So you said you can't take back your words?" "Yes, I can't. I want you to go to Sia's family, introduce yourself as the father-in-law, and then pay the bride price." The old man didn't say a word. Later that night, Sia was struggling to fall asleep. Before she could drift off, her phone rang. It was Kennedy. As they were talking, there was a knock at the door. When she opened it, she found a delivery person. Kennedy said, "That's your gift." "Another one? I've told you to stop sending me gifts. It's enough." "There's no stopping now. You're my girlfriend. Expect many more gifts. Now open that small box." Sia opened it and found a ring. She froze. Then Kennedy told her, "Sia, will you marry me?" We didn't see Sia's response. The next day, she went to brag to her best friend. "It's official. I've been proposed to with an engagement ring worth $500. Wait, how is that possible? Who is this guy? What does he do for a living? I have no idea myself. But Sia, are you sure about this guy? What if he's dangerous?" "Shut up. Who's dangerous? Just be quiet." Sia didn't want to hear anything negative about Kennedy. These days, Sia was arriving at the university in a luxurious car. As she parked and stepped out, she ran into Kanye. "You look really happy today. I knew you'd ask just like you always do." Well, I know you very well. Did you know that I'm engaged? Oh, congratulations, madam. Let me help you carry your bags. No need. You're always helping me with my laptop, books. You shouldn't trouble yourself. I actually enjoy doing it, so just hand them over. Later, Bella approached Kanye. Kanye, what's wrong? We used to be so close at first, to the point where people thought we were dating. What happened? Bella, I've been really busy these days. That's not true, and you know it. Or is it because of her? Who? You think I haven't noticed how you look at her in class? How you always try to be close to her? You think I don't see it? What are you talking about? It's Sia. I know you love her. Listen, she's out of your league. She would never choose you. And how do you know that? Don't even try to deny it. You need to stop chasing after her. Otherwise, I'll create a scandal about the two of you, and you know how much that will affect her. Bella, don't try anything stupid. I'll mess you up. Don't even think about doing anything crazy to ruin her. I'm warning you. Then he walked away. At that point, Kanye decided it would be best to speed up the wedding plans before Kennedy returned from his so-called America. So he told Sia that he had sent her $80,000. Sia was shocked to see such a large amount of money, but the occasion at hand was just the dowry ceremony and minor wedding preparations. The guy claimed he wanted everything to be perfect, which is why he was sending such a huge sum. The day for the dowry ceremony arrived, but Kanye claimed he had missed his flight. Instead, his grandfather came to represent him. This raised doubts in Muna's mind. How was this even possible? She thought it would be better for them to wait for Kanye to return before proceeding with the plans. But Sia didn't want to hear about waiting. She insisted she was fine with everything. The drinks were poured. Sia took the traditional drink to the groom's side. The old man drank it, and the guests clapped in celebration. The rituals proceeded as usual. The dowry was paid, and the bride was officially handed over. Meanwhile, Kanye was lost in thought at home as time passed. Later, the elders arrived with the groom, and if you looked carefully outside the gate, you could see Bella peeking in. Sia saw Kanye. Hey, Kanye, what are you doing here? I live here. Welcome home. The old man added, Yes, we have arrived. After being told the whole story, Sia took several minutes to process everything. Then, in shock, she suddenly slapped Kanye. What kind of nonsense are you telling me? You mean I'm married to you? How is that even possible? You're my student, a child. But Sia. And you, old man, shut up, just shut up completely. Sia stormed off in anger. The old man turned to Kanye. I warned you, young man, I warned you. Outside, Sia screamed in frustration. By then, Bella had already seen everything that had happened, but she didn't understand much. It was just chaos and loud cries at the scene. Sia went home, deep in thought. She couldn't believe what had happened. Meanwhile, Kanye kept calling her repeatedly, but Sia refused to answer. I'm still trying to understand. How did they manage to hide this from you for a whole year? I had a feeling something was off in our video calls, but it turns out he found someone to pretend to be Kennedy. What do I do now? I'm already married to my own student. Meanwhile, Kanye lay on his bed, lost in thought. The housemaid walked in and handed him a newspaper. News of Kanye marrying his teacher had spread everywhere. Kanye was completely shaken. Over at Sia's place, the news had reached them too. Sia said, This scandal has already ruined my teaching career. Muna asked, But how did people even find out? This was just a private family matter. There was no answer, but we all knew who was behind it. A moment later, there was a knock at the door. Muna went to open it. Kanye walked in. As he entered the living room, You don't touch me, Sia shouted. Are you happy now? You've ruined my life. Now are you satisfied? I love teaching. I love seeing students graduate. But now I can't do that anymore. I can't show my face anywhere. Why did you do this to me? Because if I had approached you directly, you wouldn't have agreed. Are you even serious? Are you in your right mind? I'm way out of your league. We're not on the same. Kanye decided to leave immediately straight to Bella. What's wrong with you? What are you doing here? I know you're the one behind this. You can't fool me. You did this. You were the only one who knew about me and Sia. You're the one who leaked the story to the newspapers, aren't you? I sent people to investigate and they found out it was you. What's your problem? I'm really sorry, Kanye. I didn't mean for things to blow up like this. I didn't know the story would make headlines. What did you expect? So, this was your plan? To hurt Sia? Well, anything that hurts Sia also hurts me. I will never forgive you, he said and walked away. Sia then called for a family meeting with both sides. She declared that this marriage was a fraud. Therefore, she demanded that the dowry be returned and the marriage be annulled. The elder spoke, "So, we understand how you feel, and we sincerely apologize, but I also heard you say you want the dowry to be returned." Kanye interrupted, "No, Grandpa, nothing will be returned. We need time for things to settle." "Settle? What needs to settle? Stop acting like a child." "Grandpa, please. I am a grown man, and I can take care of her. I've been running a multi-million-dollar company since I was 17. I can take care of her. She's just still upset right now. To me, you're just a boy, and a boy can never be my husband." "Ah, but I already am your husband. Ask everyone here. You can't just return the dowry because you woke up and felt like it. You want to return the dowry? It's impossible. Do you even understand what you've done? Do you realize the gravity of your actions? You almost cost me my job. Do you think I can even look at you right now?" "Why? Why can't you look at me? This conversation is over." Sia stood up and left. And with that, the meeting ended. But the elders reassured Kanye, telling him that everything would be fine, they just needed time. Now Kanye was left wondering, what have I done? Should I have just let things stay long distance? Should I have stopped before reaching this point? "I'm so sorry, Sia. I miss you so much." Then, he picked up his phone and called Sia. "So, tell me, what should I call you now? Kanye or Kennedy?" Kanye responded, "I miss you." That word struck Sia's heart. She missed him too, the poor girl, and Kanye could tell his words had reached her. "I'm coming over right now," Kanye said. He rushed out, got into his car, and drove straight to Sia's place. When he arrived, he knocked. After a moment, Sia herself opened the door. She looked awful, completely drained. Her face said it all. "I'm angry at you. I'm angry at you. I'm so angry at you. But I'm still standing on..." Before she could finish her sentence, she collapsed. Kanye quickly carried her inside, laid her down, and Muna gave her first aid. After a while, she regained consciousness. Muna told her, "You need to eat. You haven't eaten anything since the wedding." "I'm not hungry." "You don't have the right to be hungry. You have to eat." Just then, there was a knock at the door. Muna went to open it. Kanye walked in. "What are you doing here?" "How are you feeling?" "That's none of your business. Leave." "Listen, I don't want you here." But Kanye refused to leave. In the end, Sia just let him stay. The food was brought in. Kanye tried to feed her, but Sia refused, insisting she wasn't hungry. "Fine," Kanye said. He placed the soup beside her, then lay down too. "What do you think you're doing? I'm staying here until you agree to eat." "What's wrong with you? Why can't you just leave me alone?" Kanye started apologizing again. Sia looked at him in disbelief. What's wrong with this guy? But in the end, she agreed to eat, on one condition. She would feed herself. She even placed a pillow between them. No touching. And so, Kanye took care of Sia during this difficult time. The next day, they got a chance to talk. But Sia still rejected him, saying their relationship could never work because everything was built on lies. Kanye protested, "If you take away the Kennedy lies, everything else was real." A lie is a lie, no matter how small it is. Kanye kept pushing. In the end, Sia kissed him. "This is what you want, right? Sex. You've been dying to sleep with me, haven't you? You think just because you have money, you can get whatever you want? Fine. Come on, let's have sex right now. Isn't that what you want? So, you think this is all about sex? That's what you believe? That sex is the issue? That's not true. You're wrong about me. Sia, I love you. I love you so much. If we can't be together, then at least know that my heart beats for you." Saya seemed like she was about to accept, but in the end, she took out her purse, returned his ring, and told him, "Whenever the elders are ready to collect their dowry, they know where home is." Then she walked away. Life went on. Sia stayed strong and focused on her work, returning to the university to teach. Meanwhile, Kenya kept watching her in class, while everyone around had their own opinions. After class, Kenya approached Sia. But things were still difficult. Days passed, and eventually, Kenya went to see Sia's mother. He continued to express how deeply he loved Sia. Her mother said, "I've been observing you from the start, and I can see truth in you. But as for my daughter Sia, I ask that you continue to give her time to think things through. Whatever decision she makes, you'll have to accept it." Kenya was very grateful. Time continued to pass. 2 months later, Muna told Sia, "Just tell me the truth. You love this guy, but you're hiding it. It's been so many days, and you're still this miserable." Sia replied, "The reason I'm miserable is because of the shame I went through. And I always see you on your phone, waiting for his call. I might miss his calls, but he hasn't called in 2 whole months. That's because you told him not to call or even show his face around here. Isn't that right? Sia, if you love Kane, then give him a chance. Forget what people say, who even cares? If he makes you happy, be with him. But he's too young." "But it's possible," Muna insisted. "If you love him, then accept him." The next day, Sia got ready to go to the university. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. When she opened it, she found a delivery man. "Your husband sent these," he said. He entered, placed the package on the table, said goodbye, and left. Sia picked up her phone. Should I call him or ignore him? Okay, let me call. Hello, why are you sending me gifts? You haven't called in 2 whole months, and now you're sending gifts. Because you told me to stay away from you, and I didn't want to make you feel worse." Just then, Kenya appeared. He had been inside the whole time. He stepped closer and began wooing her all over again. Before he could finish speaking, she kissed him. And with that, they officially became husband and wife. They traveled to beautiful places, took lots of pictures, and became a lovely couple. In the end, Kenya put the ring back on her finger, the same ring she had returned to him. And that was the end of this movie, Better Half. I am your storyteller, Evans, and this is Nollywood Recapped. Please subscribe.